Hello, everyone. I want to thank the Alaska Federation of Natives for asking me to speak with you today. I wish I could be there in person with you, but since I can't, it was important to me that I am able to speak with you because the Justice Department's expanded partnership with Alaska Native communities continues to be important to me personally. As many of you know, I had the pleasure of visiting your beautiful state last year. I received many gifts while I was there, and they were all great. I continue to enjoy this guest book that I received from Vivian Corthius during my visit to Bethel. I will have fond memories of my visit to Bethel and of the discussion we had with Vivian and the other members of her team. I'm glad I got to visit with Vivian and Julie Kitka when they were here in D.C. in January of this year, along with Julie Hislop Roberts and Will Mayo. I also want to say hello to Chief Victor Joseph, who hosted me when I visited Galena, and all of you who are participated in the Alaska Native Justice Roundtable last year in Anchorage. During my trip, I also had the opportunity to visit with many other wonderful people, and I was very much looking forward to seeing everyone again this year, and I'm very disappointed we were not able to make the trip because of coronavirus. I know that the virus has taken a particularly hard toll on the Native communities in Alaska. I was saddened to hear that Nipasquiac experienced an outbreak earlier this summer, and I know there were many other communities in Alaska that have had to struggle to respond to the virus. This situation has presented unprecedented challenges to every state in our nation. However, in Alaska, the challenges associated with coronavirus are magnified just that much more because of the unique geographical landscape. When I visited Alaska last year, I witnessed firsthand the complex, unique, and dire law enforcement challenges the state and its remote Alaska Native communities are facing. I think that in the past, Native communities have been faced with the intolerable choice of either moving to cities for law enforcement protection and risk breaking apart, or staying in place without protection and continuing to fend for yourselves. This is unacceptable. We must sincerely appreciate that a number of American communities across our nation are built upon and sustained by heritage and long-standing tradition. As I've said before, you deserve the fundamental right to live according to your heritage and tradition and to freely pursue happiness as you choose. It is incumbent upon us as Americans to strive to preserve those cherished inheritances while providing the public safety resources and infrastructure that allow those communities to flourish. Alaska is home to some of the most remote communities in all of America. This geographic isolation contributes to law enforcement adversities not seen elsewhere in our nation. These are our communities, and citizens have been neglected over the course of our history. They've been passed over for resources, and their plights have received little attention from D.C. or the media. This administration has focused on ensuring that the forgotten Americans begin to be remembered and know that they are not forgotten. As I said when I was in Alaska, I've always been mindful that it is the job of the Attorney General to serve all the people of the United States in every state and every community. I believe the Department of Justice is here to fully serve every single citizen, no matter who they are and no matter where they reside. Asking for basic physical security is not too much to ask. As I was preparing for my trip to Alaska last year, I learned that of the 229 Alaska Native villages, only about 60 had village or tribal police officers. I saw firsthand when I visited Nipasquiac the responsibility those officers had in their communities and how the lack of resources makes their already difficult jobs just that much more challenging. I am pleased that over the course of the the last 14 months, our COPS office has provided funding for an additional 38 village, tribal, and rural community police officers across 25 Alaska Native villages. These additional officers will help expand the presence of public safety and move us closer to ensuring that all Alaska Native villages are afforded a reasonable level of public safety in our communities. Thanks to the leadership of the Alaska Federation of Natives and the other crucial partners throughout Alaska, the department has already made substantial changes in the way we support and collaborate with Alaska Native communities. And I continue to be committed to the initiatives we have underway and appreciate our partnership in our work to improve public safety for all Alaska Natives. I'm pleased that $93 million in grants were awarded to Alaska this year, with $48.16 million of that funding being awarded to Native communities through the Justice Department's Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation and a Tribal Victim Service Set-Aside program. These funds will support a wide variety of programs aimed at improving law enforcement, public safety infrastructure, and services for victims of crime. Our U.S. Attorney in Alaska, Brian Schroeder, has led the department's efforts to deliver a meaningful response to the discussions we had last year. He also heard your requests for more federal involvement, and the initiatives he has launched are already paying dividends. All three assistant U.S. attorneys are on board and indicting cases. Brian has focused his team on getting violent criminals out of Alaska villages where they are a danger to their communities. They've already charged felon in possession cases against violent offenders with previous convictions in homicide, assault, sexual assault, and domestic violence. Our prosecutors are also working to protect the children of rural Alaska. For example, the U.S. Attorney's Office has charged teachers in Kivalina and Stebbins and a principal in Bethel with attempted coercion and enticement of a minor. Further, Brian formed the Rural Alaska Anti-Violent Enforcement Network, also known as RAVEN. RAVEN has facilitated deeper collaboration between rural communities, Native groups, victim service organizations, care providers, and law enforcement at all levels. Brian is committed to working closely with Native villages and organizations as the network develops. President Trump and I have also focused on the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous persons, known as MMIP. The President commissioned Operation Lady Justice, and consistent with the President's executive order, I tasked the U.S. attorneys across the country to work with American Indian and Alaska Native communities and law enforcement officials to better cooperate and coordinate resources in MMIP cases. The Justice Department has also provided resources to hire MMIP coordinators, including in Alaska. U.S. Attorney Schroeder, working through the MMIP coordinator, has started an MMIP working group comprised of Alaska Native leaders, victim service coordinators, and key law enforcement partners, including the Alaska State Troopers and the FBI. This important initiative will further strengthen the federal, state, and tribal law enforcement response to end this crisis. I want to be sure that the support of this department offers to Alaska Native communities will support solutions identified by the communities themselves. The only way for us to provide effective support is to continue in partnership with each other. This is true in Alaska and throughout Indian country, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished so far, and I thank you for your partnership. Thank you for inviting me to speak with you today.